How can I use modules in my application on the controller? We've got a project with a PFC100 controller, and on my desk I've got the PFC100 starter kit. So we've got a power supply, then the PFC100 with a supply module, then a 2-channel digital input which is connected to 2 switches, a 2-channel digital output module, and an AND module. Now to add these modules to our controller in the project, we double click the controller and get into the K-bus view. Here we can see an empty K-bus currently, and there's 2 ways of adding the modules to the controller. One is manually by adding the modules from the product catalog, and one is scanning the controller if you already have it on your desk. So if we go into the product catalog first, we can now search for the article numbers. And this is handy because you can already start programming if you don't have the controller on your desk yet. So we add the 602, the 400, 2-channel digital input, and now also the 501, the 2-channel digital output module. Now the K-bus is matching the one on my desk and I could continue. I also want to show the other way though, so I will delete what I just added, and we go into the device tab and do a scan. You need to have an IP address already configured so you can connect to the controller, and it's now scanning and showing me that it has 2 modules on the K-bus. We say apply all. Notice here that it didn't add the 602 because this is not necessary, because it doesn't add any function to the K-bus. It is just given the power to the contacts for the other 2 modules, so it also can't find it. So the 602 is optional to add it to the K-bus. Now to continue, we just select a module and we need to add a mapping for a module. So I click on the little plus here and we can see the 2 channels this module has. It already has 2 addresses, which we could already use to be able to communicate with the module, but this is not very handy because the addresses might change if you add or remove modules from your K-bus. So instead, we go to the variable list here and say that this is the XDI1 and XDI2 for a name, and we do the same for the digital output module here. So XDO1 and XDO2, and now we've got those names defined, and whenever we want to work with our in and outputs now, we can use the names instead of having to play around with the addresses. So if we go to the program view, we can see that there's already the project here with a PLC PLG, which is currently empty. You can do this in any language, so this is structured text, but I will go more into depth with the languages in the next video. But in any language you can press F2 to get a list of the variables that you can use. So we here have the io-config global mapping, and we can see the variables which we just defined. So I will use the XDO1 and then say that this should be equal to, again F2 to get into this view, XDI1. And then we can just connect to our controller. Of course we want to write the application, and then we have to start it. And now we can see if we change the first switch here, so give the input 1, we will also get the output 1 as true.